He's Hacker.
Talk about a fried egg. I lasted about 5 minutes out there. I said, to heck with this. I'll do this in the morning. And I don't have any inside information. The lady that did it, she got in there. She made it happen.
And he doesn't shy away from opinion.
And I do enjoy drinking cold beer at ballparks. So if that makes me a baseball fan, then I'm a diehard baseball fan.
It's Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
And a very good Tuesday evening to you, Jacksonville. It is Hacker After Dark, 1010XL, 92.5 FM with Dylan Denmark. The Hacker Ryan Green with you. Glad you are with us. A Tuesday that finds us one day closer to Thanksgiving. Obviously, a lot of people looking forward to that, myself included. A lot of football, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. It will be a glorious occasion among the football. Of course, Florida and Florida State. Still a rivalry game. Still Seminole fans want to beat your Gator brethren. Likewise, Gator fans, you want to beat your Seminole brethren, even though the two teams are a combined 8-14. 8-14 for both Florida and Florida State this year. We will talk about that. We spent some time on the Gators last night. Tonight we will spend a little time on Florida State. My guy over in Tallahassee, Ira Schofel, warchant.com, will join me to talk about the fact that Mike Norvell is remaining in Tallahassee. Seminole fans like it or not, that is what is going to happen at least for 2026, if not longer. And what about Florida State going into Saturday trying to get bowl eligible? Is that the ultimate goal? Do they need to get to a bowl game to start establishing stuff for the 2026 season? We'll talk about all of that with Ira Schofel of Warchant. That comes up in about 35 minutes or so. Also, former Jaguar Pro Bowl offensive tackle, my buddy Leon Searcy. Hear him every day on XL Primetime. You get him weekly here on Hacker After Dark, as we will talk Jags and Titans. We will also take a look back at the Jags' big victory over Arizona last Sunday. So a ton to do with you till 10 o'clock. As always, Jacksonville, we are glad you are spending part of your Tuesday evening with us. Every night on Hacker After Dark, we do kick it off with a big deal of the night. And Dylan Denmark, let's do that right now.
Time now for the big deal of the night.
What's the big deal?
What is the big deal?
No big deal. It is a big deal.
On Hacker After Dark.
So a couple of ways to look at some of the bigger games this week in the area. Let's begin with Florida and Florida State. You know, I'm old enough to remember when this game was a battle of top 10 teams, top 5 teams. Bobby Bowden on one side, Steve Spurrier on the other. Man, there was just a lot of drama in these Florida State games. In the last decade, not so much, right? There's still good old-fashioned hatred. All due respect to Georgia Tech. Still good old-fashioned hatred between Seminole fans and Florida Gator fans. But whether Florida's up and Florida State is bad, or Florida State is up and Florida is bad, this rivalry, certainly in the last decade, maybe you can go farther back, 15 plus years, just isn't what it once was, which is a shame. Because there was nothing quite like walking into Doak Campbell Stadium or walking into Ben Hill Griffin Stadium on the final Saturday in November when national championship implications were on the line. Much like they were in 1991, 14-9 Florida. Much like they were in 1995 when Florida beat Florida State 35-24. 96, right? 1 versus 2. Florida State got the first win. Rematch in the Sugar Bowl. Florida got the second win. 1997, Florida costing Florida State a shot at the national title. And you can go on and on and on and on into the 2000s when Marcus Outson led Florida State to victory to get them a spot in the national championship game. Great games, man. Great moments, great history. Anymore, though, I mean, look, I just rattled off games from 30 years ago like they were yesterday. Quick, tell me what happened in the 2022 Florida State game. Tell me what happened in the 2019 Florida State game. Better yet, tell me what happened in the 2023 Florida State game. I'm assuming we all remember last year because last year Florida planted the flag, but that's pretty much all people remember from last year. The game just has lost some of the luster, unfortunately. Hopefully we get it back one day. Hopefully we will. And the reason why it's lost some of the luster is, well, quite frankly, bad coaching hires, right? I mean, ever since Urban Meyer left Florida, now 15 plus years ago, hadn't been the same with Will Muschamp and Jim McElwain and Dan Mullen and Billy Napier. Florida State was obviously good for a while with Jimbo while Florida was down. But then they lost some of their luster, certainly with Willie Taggart, and they've lost a lot of it with Mike Norvell. Florida's job is open. Whether it's Lane Kiffin or not, Florida is going to have somebody else on the sideline in 2026. Florida State's job is not open. Mike Norvell, like it or not, Seminole fans, will be returning in 2026. Hopefully one day, Florida and Florida State can get back to what it once was, top 5 program versus top 5 program, national championship contender versus national championship contender. That's obviously what makes a big part of a rivalry, but it does still have the good old-fashioned hatred among the fan bases. Gator fan, as bad as your year has been, and let's be honest with each other, it has been bad. And as much as you're looking forward to this season to end and looking forward to seeing what Lane Kiffin is ultimately going to do, no doubt you want to beat Florida State. You want to beat the Garnet and Gold. And Florida State fan, likewise, as mad as you are about Mike Norvell returning in 2026, as frustrated as you are about losing 12 of your last 15 ACC conference games, and as bad off as you think your program is, be awfully nice to beat Florida. Awfully nice to beat the orange and blue. Florida State still has that component. They still have fans that see just venom and despise when they see their rivals' logos. That's a big part of a rivalry. But the other big part of it is being in the national championship race, being ranked in the top 5, top 10, top 15, costing somebody a shot at the title, costing somebody a shot at the playoff. That is what Florida State has lost in the last 10 or 15 years. And hopefully one day, sooner rather than later, that aspect of a once great, proud rivalry will return on the last Saturday in November in either Tallahassee, Florida, or Gainesville. But for what it is this year, I'm looking forward to it. You'll hear the game right here on 1010XL. Kickoff 4:30 Saturday afternoon. And, of course, you'll get Sean Kelly and the Gator broadcast right here on 1010XL. Likewise, you will get the Jaguars on Sunday afternoon at 1 o'clock. Frank Franchi will be on the call with Jaguars Radio. Jaguars and the Titans, the 1-10 Tennessee Titans. Be careful. They're probably not as bad as 1-10 would indicate. Again, they lost 30-24 to Seattle last week. They lost 16-13 to Houston. By the way, that same Texan team and that same Seahawk team that just beat Jacksonville, Tennessee was right there with those two teams in the fourth quarter. They also just lost by a touchdown to the Chargers. So Tennessee has been in the last 3 games. Cam Ward is playing better. Look, no question. On paper, Jacksonville should easily win this game. But the NFL, of course, is not played on paper. That's why the New York Giants took the Detroit Lions to overtime. That's why the New York Jets were beating Baltimore in the third quarter. It's the National Football League, man. You don't ever really know what to expect. And Tennessee would love nothing more than to put a severe blow into Jacksonville's chances of winning the AFC South. And as I've said all week, and I'll continue to say it, if there's one team at this point that should know they can't overlook anybody based on what Jake Browning did to them, based on what Davis Mills did to them, based on almost what the lowly Raiders did to them, it's the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jacksonville can't afford to overlook anyone. I don't care about the Colts being up next on the schedule. That Colts game becomes a lot less significant if you lose to Tennessee on Sunday. I'm of the opinion that Liam Cohen will have them ready. I'm of the opinion that Jacksonville will go into Nashville and take care of business. But we're going to preview it a lot tonight. We're going to begin our preview with Leon Searcy. You hear him every day on XL Primetime. You also get him weekly here on Hacker After Dark. You want to talk about a guy that hates the Tennessee Titans. Leon Searcy hates the Tennessee Titans. Let's talk to Leon about the win in Arizona. Let's preview the game in Nashville on Sunday, and let's do it next. Leon Searcy joins me on a Tuesday night here in Northeast Florida. We're glad you're with us. It's Hacker After Dark.
Fall football keeps college campuses buzzing.
I'm RJ Saunders, and I'll help you slide into a college football Saturday with pregame news and notes.
On the Bueller Air and Plumbing College Kickoff.
Served up by Sonny's Barbecue.
Friday night at 6 on 1010XL.
The wait is over. Sunday, December 7th, your Jacksonville Jaguars return to Everbank Stadium for a massive division showdown against the Indianapolis Colts. This is more than just a game. It's a statement. Touchdown, Jacksonville! The Jags are back home and ready to turn up the heat in their iconic Prowler throwbacks. Kickoff is 1 p.m., so pack the bank and make it loud. Secure your seats now at Jaguars.com/tickets or call 904-633-2000. We'll see you at the bank.
Truth Teller here, and I've solved all of your holiday problems and stress. A gift card from the Blue Crab Crab House. Get this, you buy a $50 gift card, and you get an additional $15 card for free. It's that simple, and as always at the Blue Crab Crab House, the best crabs in Jacksonville, oysters, and seafood, period. Blue Crab Crab House, open every day except for Monday off of San Jose on Jewington Creek Road.
I open the door and take you inside the locker room to get you closer to the field, the players and coaches you care about.
Get a look at Hayes' blog on 1010XL.com.
My blog is brought to you by Roland Reese Plumbing,
where quality and experience count.
Clogged toilet, too much paper, deeper blockages, or one of your child's Hot Wheels could be the culprit. Superior Plumbing and Pipeline and handles toilet clogs fast. If your toilet's clogged, make the superior choice. Learn more at SuperiorPlumbingJacks.com.
Hey Jacksonville, Rick Ballou here. Looking for a brand new truck? Right now, Crew Cab Ram trucks start at just $38,900 at Jacksonville Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram West Side. And every new retail purchase comes with a lifetime powertrain warranty and no extra cost. From tough Ram trucks to adventure ready Jeeps, they've got the perfect ride waiting for you. Stop by Commonwealth Avenue or shop online at jackswest.com. Jacksonville Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram West Side, proud partner of the Jaguars.
Frank Frangie here for Stanley Pools. If you're dreaming of putting in a pool this year, choosing the right company is the most important decision you'll make. I've trusted Stanley Pools to build my pool, renovate my pool, and maintain my pool. Stanley Pools has been the best in the business since 1988, and they're still family-owned. Call them today at 904-269-7277 or find them online at StanleyPoolsFL.com. That's Stanley Pools, a family tradition of fine swimming pools.
PRP treatment is kind of the thing these days, and in many cases, it eliminates the need for surgery. This is Sheridan Tootin, and my experience with PRP from Southeast Orthopedic Specialist has been nothing short of great. I'm really feeling much better now. Ask your Southeast Orthopedic Specialist doctor about PRP treatment.
This is Dr. Kevin Murphy with Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, where athletes are treated like pros.
Relieve pain and get back to life. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Did you know that for every inch of rain on a 2,000 square foot roof, 1,500 gallons come off the eaves of the roof? Call Clearwater Seamless Gutters and Drainage, and we'll design a plan using our Clearwater Seamless Gutters, and we'll connect those gutters to a Clearwater drainage system to solve your erosion and standing water issues.
Clearwater Seamless Gutters. We can't sing a lick, but we sure are good at gutters.
And drainage, too.
SeamlessGuttersJacksonville.com.
Hey, it's Brent with Arcosa Crushed Concrete. If you've got concrete or asphalt rubble on your site, let me buy it from you, and I will recycle it into construction material for your future projects. Arcosa Crushed Concrete. Get paid for what you don't need.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch. Now, another great guest on the Checkmate Coatings phone line.
Hello.
Your floor's missing piece.
Back here on 1010XL at 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. Jaguars Titans Sunday 1 o'clock in Nashville. Of course, you'll hear the game right here on 1010XL. The Jaguars now 7-4 on the year after that big overtime victory last week in Arizona. Let's recap the win in Arizona. Let's look ahead to Tennessee with a former Jacksonville Jaguar Pro Bowl offensive tackle, my buddy Leon Searcy. You hear him every day on XL Primetime, and we're lucky enough to have him weekly right here on Hacker After Dark. Leon, how we doing, man?
I'm good, bro.
Leon, you and I had the fifth quarter together Sunday night. You've had a couple of days to kind of reflect on the win in Arizona. You're -4 in the turnover differential, all the bad stuff that happened to the Jaguars during that game, and yet you find a way to win an overtime game on the road. Leon, that seems like a big win for the Jags moving forward.
Oh, it was absolutely a big win. We talked about it on the fifth quarter where I say we're extinguishing narratives. The Jaguars for a very long time were not known for a team that could go in the West Coast and win football games. And we've gone there 3 times and won. This team is resilient. This team plays with intensity, effort. There's no give up. I think it has a lot to do with the coaching staff. I think what's being the culture that's being instilled in this team that it may not. I like what Liam said. We don't apologize for wins. It's hard to win in this NFL, Hack. I'm telling you, it's very hard. But you can survive in advance and go to 7-4, and you're right in the mix of the playoff. That's all you can ever ask for. I've played teams like this before. That when you look at the roster, you put the rosters up against one another. You should blow this team out. But this team, they got paid professionals on this team as well. And they played like it on Sunday. It was just fortunate enough for us that we came through in the end.
Yeah, no doubt. And look, there's a lot of branches to talk about with you. First and foremost, let's discuss Trevor Lawrence. Look, it was not a thing of beauty by any stretch of the imagination. Bad interceptions, certainly. You can't throw 3 picks and have another fumble, a 4-turnover day, and expect to win a lot of football games. But in Trevor's defense, and to his credit, even despite that, boy, that fourth quarter drive where he hit Parker Washington in the back of the end zone to take the lead, and then even the overtime drive for the field goal, I thought Trevor really showed a lot of resilience there.
He did. I mean, listen, Trevor has to have, in this game, as far as cornerbacks go, man, when you're having a bad day, you got to have selective amnesia. You know what you did wrong, but you got to keep going on. And I think that was interesting that what Liam Cohen said in the presser is that when he talked to Trevor about the interceptions, he said, "Man, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling great. I know what I did was wrong. Let me just keep going and keep firing away." So Trevor understands the mistakes he's made. He knows he can't do that kind of stuff. Can't stare down wide receivers and give corners and safeties the edge on where you're going to be throwing the football. But despite all that, despite his poor performance, throughout pretty much the length of the game, when we needed him the most, like you said, when he threw that touchdown to Parker Washington in the back of the end zone, I mean, absolutely, if you look at it, he was under pressure. He stepped to the side, he floated left, floated right, and then threw the ball with accuracy. And that's all you can ever ask. That ultimately was the play that put us in the lead, and now we ultimately went to overtime and won it. But without that throw, without that catch, I mean, who says that we win that game this past Sunday?
Former Jaguar Pro Bowl offensive tackle Leon Searcy with us here on Hacker After Dark. Leon, 3-0 on the West Coast. Now, were they the greatest teams ever? No. The Raiders and the Cardinals, 49ers obviously are pretty good. But what does it say about a young Jaguar football team with a first-year coaching staff to go out west 3 separate occasions and win all 3 times?
Well, I like their approach. It's a business trip. When you go on the West Coast, everybody talks about the jet lag and the time. I mean, that's just built-in excuses for not taking care of business. I think that Liam Cohen has done a wonderful job in assessing that this team don't make excuses for themselves. As you go out there and you play at a very high level, and then you get the hell out of Dodge and whatever. However, listen, the 2 wins against the Raiders and the Cardinals, bro, we escaped with our lives.
Yeah.
But we found a way to win. We're talking about a batted ball, and we're talking about Dewey Winger, coming over the top, knocking the ball down on a 4th down and 4 that could ultimately win the game for the Cardinals. So, man, all you can do in this league, survive in advance. And we've escaped for our lives the last couple of times we've been out there.
We talk about the -4 turnover differential. They also won that game without some of their best players, right? Trayvon Walker, Anton Harrison, Jordan Lewis, Brian Thomas Jr. among them. They're going to start getting some of those guys back, maybe as early as this week. And you saw a guy come back last week in Brenton Strange, and you saw how much the Jaguars' offense missed a guy like Brenton Strange. I mean, Leon, Brenton Strange did not play competitive football for a month and a half. He comes back in there, and the first time out, 5 catches for 93 yards. What a performance by him.
Absolutely. Yeah, he's a baller. He's an absolute baller, and you could tell that we missed him. And we needed him in that game ultimately. Now, I wouldn't give him the MVP for the offense because I think Parker Washington did some amazing job. Well, you know what? Co-MVPs. Him and Parker Washington shine. I call those type of guys heaters. What I mean by heaters is those guys with their play, raise the level of intensity and effort on the offense by their playmaking ability. So you're right. We're getting. You know what? I think the best thing that Liam Cohen has done, to be quite honest with you, Hacker, is that he's got the stars playing like stars. So to say, Trevor's still a work in progress. Okay. But then he's got the middle guys. He's got the average to middle, the everyday guy playing above board. He's got them playing above, their pay grade. And they're making play like a guy like Gardick. I mean, the guys like that who aren't your superstars on the team coming and making it. So I think he's done a great job and putting the pressure on the star guys to play and perform at an elite level. And then the average working guy to play above board, play above their expectations. So, and that's what I've been seeing from this team. So we can continue down that road, clean up some of the mess, because there was some mess on the offensive side, especially. But now we're in the mix. Now we're 7-4 with a 6 seed, and we can make some things happen if we get on a nice little run down the stretch.
Couple more for Leon Searcy. I want to focus on the defense and the Titans in a moment. Quickly, though, we mentioned Brian Thomas Jr. At some point, Leon, he's going to come back. And when he comes back, when you see the way Parker Washington's playing, you see how Jacoby Myers has integrated himself into the offense, Brenton Strange is back now. All of a sudden, that passing attack for Jacksonville could be pretty formidable.
It could be, absolutely. But to be quite frankly, Frank Hack is that, out of sight, out of mind. He's been the forgotten commodity on this offense because of his injury, and we've still been effective without him. So, I mean, he's got to. I think, in my opinion, he's got to earn those reps. He's got to. Does he still have an issue with catching the ball or catching the ball through the middle? Is he going to? I mean, because if he comes back, now I'm hoping for the best, but if he comes back with those same concerns or miscues. We got to roll with the guys that we've had success with. He'll be a welcome addition, but we we can't deal with the same problems we dealt with before that he had before the injury occurred.
Yeah, you look at Parker Washington, Brenton Strange, and Jacoby Myers last week. They combined 14 grabs for over 200 yards, I believe. Those three guys were really good for the Jaguars out in Arizona. All right, quickly to the defense. You mentioned guys like Dennis Gardeck, Danny Strigow, B.J. Green. Look, they had to manifest a pass rush last week, Leon, without Trayvon Walker. And Anthony Campanile's credit, boy, he did that. He's getting a lot of run from some of the younger guys, some blitz packages as well, with Antonio Johnson getting in the backfield. I really liked what Campanile did to offset Trayvon not being out there.
Yeah, I like the adjustment that he made because early on, I mean, he struggled in zone and getting the four-man rush, and then when he went to man, he kind of brought the house a little bit. And the key to when you're bringing the house during man is that you got to get home with those blitz packages. When you got to get home, or because you're putting the back end of the defense on the island. So it was good that those guys got home. They were running, man-to-man rushes. They were running twist game rushes. They were running Will Fire, Mike Fire, Sam Fire, all those type of things. And they were stunning in the middles and Eric Armstead did a great job pushing the guards back on a lot of those rushes. So, yeah, I mean, he's got a nice package together. I mean, and you know what? You can tell that those guys are excited about it because they got after it pretty good. I mean, you got 6 sacks, and I can't account for how many pressures they had. They had to have at least over 15 pressures, maybe even 20. But they were getting home. That's the key. I mean, you're going to need that kind of pressure down the stretch when you start playing teams like the Colts down the stretch and maybe the Broncos as well. So it's good to see that. I don't want to say we're in playoff form, but we really are. When you're 7-4 right now, Hack, the last 6 games or last 7 games, they're playoff games, bro. You got to have that kind of approach and mindset. They're teams that are in the way. They're the teams that you're playing down the stretch are in the way with your possibilities of making the playoffs, and you've got to approach it that way. You got to prepare that way. You got to practice that way, and you got to get it done that way.
And with that being said, a trip to Nashville on Sunday. You, myself, the coach Gerald Ingram will have the 5th quarter Sunday, 2 hours after the Jaguars and the Titans go final. Look, if there's a team in the NFL that at this point has to know they can't overlook anybody, it's got to be Jacksonville. Seeing as how Jake Browning beat them, Davis Mills beat them, they almost lost to the lowly Raiders and the Cardinals. I can't imagine Jacksonville looking ahead, but the question I'm getting a lot is, all right, you go to play the 1-10 Titans, knowing the Colts come in a week after and what's going to be maybe the biggest regular season home game since 2022. Is there a potential thought of an overlook factor? And, Leon, my response to that is, well, how could there be? Plus, I look at this Titan team. Yeah, they're 1-10, but, man, their last 3 games, they've only lost by a combined 16 points. They've been in every one of them.
No, you can't take this team lightly. I mean, the history alone with the Titans, with this organization, absolutely you can't take them lightly. I don't care that they're 1-10. I mean, look, 1-11 looks good on them too. I mean, you've got to take care of business. This is a team, like you said, the last couple of games, they're going to fight you. They're going to fight you, and they don't have any other resilience than to be spoilers. That's all they have is to be spoilers. And they would like nothing more than to spoil our chances of making the playoffs, because that's what rivals do. That's what teams that you hate do. The only resolve they have is to play you tough and win this game and hopefully, sabotage your ability to make the playoffs. No, you don't take the Titans lightly for whatever. We hate this team. I mean, it's documented. It's written in the books. And when you got a team like this, that the history with this organization has had with this team over the last decades, no, you don't take the Titans lightly. You go in there and you try to win a ball game.
Jaguars and the Titans, Sunday, 1 o'clock. You'll hear it right here on 1010XL. And then 2 hours after the game goes final, myself, the coach Gerald Ingram, and the Pro Bowler Leon Searcy will have the 5th quarter for you. Leon, happy Thanksgiving to you and your family. I'll see you Sunday evening, my friend.
Appreciate you, bro.
There you go. Leon Searcy, always with us here on Hacker After Dark. Certainly appreciate him joining us. More on the Jaguars coming up later on here on Hacker After Dark. The college football playoff rankings are out this week. Not a lot of changes, but there were a couple. For whatever it's worth, Oregon has leapfrogged Ole Miss into the 6th spot. The top 5 remain the same. Ohio State 1, Indiana 2, Texas A&M 3, and Georgia 4. Those are the top 4. Under this scenario, those were the 4 teams that would get byes into the quarterfinals. Texas Tech is 5, Oregon 6, Ole Miss 7. So Ole Miss drops a spot during their bye week. Oklahoma 8, Notre Dame 9, Alabama 10, BYU 11, and Miami 12. Now, the interesting thing there is with Miami being 12, that sounds good in theory, but they would still need to win the ACC championship more than likely to get in. Now, that's going to be really interesting, Denmark. And again, I don't know if we have parameters on that or not. The ACC champion, you would expect to get that spot, right? Whoever wins in Charlotte. If Miami has 2 losses and Virginia has 2 losses and all these teams that have 2 losses in the ACC, odds are it would probably go to the team that wins the championship game, correct?
Yes, as far as I know.
I don't see any other reason why it wouldn't. So Miami would be in as of tonight, but again, a lot is still to be decided with the ACC championship game. I guess the unlucky loser tonight is BYU. BYU comes in the 11th spot, but they get bounced for the group of 5 Tulane, who gets in as the final seed, the number 12 seed. So if the playoffs started today, your 5-12 matchup would be Tulane at Texas Tech. Your 9-8 matchup would be Notre Dame at Oklahoma. Your 11-6 matchup would be Miami at Oregon. How spicy would that be with Mario Cristobal going back to Eugene? And your 10-7 matchup would be Alabama at Ole Miss, with, again, Ohio State, Indiana, Georgia, and Texas A&M getting the byes. Of course, nothing means anything until 2 weeks from now. You got the final week of the regular season, and then you got Championship Saturday, where we will finally have clarity on the 12 teams that will make the college football playoff. One of the teams that will not make the college football playoff is Florida State, but we already know that Mike Norvell will indeed return in 2026. Let's talk about Mike Norvell's return. Let's talk about what went wrong for Florida State, what the future is for Gus Malzahn, and what this game against Florida means for the Seminoles, who are trying to become bowl eligible. One of our main guys in Tallahassee is Ira Schofel, warchant.com, and Ira joins us next on a Tuesday night here in the city of Jacksonville. We're glad you're with us. It's Hacker After Dark.
He watches the coach's film to find the things you might have missed. Jeff Lockeman checks the tape for you. Tuesdays during football season on Jaguars Today. Inspected by Napa Auto Care on 1010XL.
Bud Light and everyone at Anheuser-Busch want to remind you to get home safely every time. People are counting on you, on the road and at home. Plan ahead with safe rides, and don't forget to hydrate between beers. Bud Light encourages everyone to enjoy responsibly and socialize safely.
Awaken 180 weight loss. Awaken 180 weight loss. Hacker here for the best weight loss program that I've ever been on. You know, I hear some of my friends telling me about this medication they're on, or that medication they're on, or this shot they're taking. And I stop them and say, well, wait a minute. I lost over 100 pounds doing it the all-natural way with Awaken 180 weight loss. There was no medications. There was no shot once a week. There was the coaching I received from Awaken 180. There's the plan they put me on, and you see the results. Over 100 pounds of weight loss in less than a calendar year. The coaching I got was phenomenal. Not only did it help me lose the weight, it's helping me keep the weight off now that I'm in the maintenance program. Awaken 180 is the best weight loss program I've ever been on, and I tried them all. Go to awaken180weightloss.com, awaken180weightloss.com, or call 844-346-1800.
Rick Ballou for Coy Dental. That's right, Carlson Dental is now Coy Dental. Dr. Lee has been practicing there for 9 years, has purchased the company. The Coy Dental team still has the same great dentists and staff. And remember, if you get nervous visiting a dentist, don't. There's never a problem at Coy Dental with light sedation for cleaning and deep sedation for all your restorative needs. Coy Dental, located in Bartram Park.
San Jose Collision is hiring for an automotive detailer and porter. If you're detail-oriented, dependable, and love working with cars, apply in person at San Jose Collision in Mandarin. Valid driver's license required.
With 50 years of fabrication expertise and towing products, the family at Cannons of Jacksonville can repair or install precisely what you need to tow with confidence. Visit cannonsofjacks.com, where quality and customer satisfaction collide.
This is Jeff Middlecoff with Cogent Bank. My associate Ryan Salem and I joined Cogent Bank because we wanted to revolutionize the mortgage business, just like Cogent Bank has revolutionized the banking business. So Ryan Salem and I are able to leverage the power and stability of Cogent Bank to go out and find our clients the best investors, the best products, and the best rates in the entire country for your particular mortgage loan. Of course, you don't have to be a customer at Cogent Bank to take advantage of our mortgage services to buy or refinance your home. We offer jumbo loans, VA, FHA, conventional, and investment loans. At Cogent Bank, we offer mortgages nationwide, so we can help you with a second home or help a family member who lives or is moving to another state. Call Ryan Salem or myself, Jeff Middlecoff, at Cogent Bank today, 904-442-9191, to see how we can help you with any of your mortgage loan needs, whatever or wherever they may be.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender, Cogent Bank, NMLS ID 402296, Ryan Salem, NMLS ID 1182429, Jeff Middlecoff, NMLS ID 249086.
Your home deserves more than just another coat of paint. It deserves quality that lasts. At First Coast Paint, you'll find premium Benjamin Moore products, trusted advice, and the local experts who help you get it right the first time. Whether it's your living room, your porch, or your whole house, First Coast Paint brings your paint project to life. Stores in St. John's and St. Augustine. One name Jacksonville Trust. Mention 1010XL for 10% off. First Coast Paint. Simply superior paint.
Julington Creek Pest Control has been serving our community since 1984. Our turf management program is an all-out blitz, granular fertilization, weed and insect control, keeping your lawn championship green all year. Quarterly pest control stops bugs before they ever cross your goal line. Family owned, locally operated, expert technicians, top quality products, no gimmicks, just winning results. Julington Creek Pest Control, our family serving yours since 1984.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah. Now, another great guest on the Checkmate Coatings phone line. Hello. Your floor's missing piece.
Back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville, we are glad you are with us. Florida State, Saturday, 4:30. Of course, you'll hear the game right here on 1010XL. From a Gator perspective, it is the final game of the year, and then obviously the Lane Kiffin watch will commence. From a Florida State perspective, they're looking to win to get to a bowl game, and their fan base has clarity because they know Mike Norvell, like it or not, will return for the 2026 season. Let's talk about the Florida State Seminoles with one of our guys over in Tallahassee. Ira Schoffel does a terrific job covering that university for warchant.com, and Ira's always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL. Ira, how you doing, man?
I'm great, Ryan. How you doing?
Ira, we're good. Thank you so much for the time. All right, let's not bury the lead. Florida State announces Mike Norvell will return in 2026. Ira, what was your reaction, and what has been the reaction over there in Tallahassee?
My initial reaction wasn't like surprise in terms of like just this came out of nowhere. I feel like we've known probably for the last month or so, certainly since the Stanford game when they didn't make a change there, that that they clearly did not want to make a change. If they wanted to make a change, again, if you look at some of these other jobs like Penn State with James Franklin, LSU with Brian Kelly, make a case with Florida and Billy Napier. Like if they want to make a change, those coaches gave them a reason to, and they made the change then. Mike Norvell certainly gave them a reason to last year when he went 2-10, and then losing at Stanford, one of the worst teams in the country. You only scored 13 points. Look like you don't even want to be there. 4-game losing streak. If they wanted to fire him, that would have been the time. They didn't do it then. So you kind of started to think, okay, they're going to try to figure out a way to not have to fire him because they don't want to pay that $58 million buyout. But you started to wonder, though, when you lose those games at Clemson and NC State, and the NC State game was embarrassing, that maybe they would actually do it, and they did not. I would say the vast majority of the response from the fan base is frustration. I think most fans, if you could do a poll and get the numbers, I would say most fans wanted to see Florida State make a change. The problem is, most fans aren't the ones that have to deal with the financial repercussions. And I think the administration, a lot of the top level donors, the people that write the biggest checks, they would rather them fix other things in the program and keep Mike Norvell than just paying him almost $60 million to go away. So, there's some split feelings on it. But I do think it's kind of a signaling of, I don't think it's just words. I do think they want to restructure things in the athletic department, the football program, to help them out. And then if Mike Norvell still can't get it done, then they'll change him. But at least they would have those changes made in the program, what they feel are important in this new era of college football.
I mean, the bottom line, Ira, if it was a $30 million buyout, he's probably gone, right? Because it's a $58 million buyout, that's why he's staying. Is that what we're saying here?
Yeah, I think that's accurate. And if they thought he was just a disaster, like if they thought there was no way to bring Mike Norvell back, that he's incompetent, he can't get the job done, then I think maybe they would have done it even at $58 million. But they do believe there's a chance Mike Norvell can turn it around if other things are in place. And clearly, yeah, they do not want to spend that money.
Ira Schoffel, warchant.com. Ira, they beat Alabama, which feels like, a decade ago, I'm sure, for Florida State guys. What happened after the Alabama game? Was that just a bad day at the office for Alabama? Because clearly this Florida State team has regressed in a big way since.
Yeah, it was a combination of both. I do think Florida State's regressed, but I do think it was a bad day at the office for Alabama. I think, there's no way that they could get those players to believe that Florida State was going to be good or decent because, they put any film they put on from 2024 when FSU went 2-10 was a disaster. And then, you brought in some players, but Tommy Castellanos is not going to strike fear in the hearts of Alabama's defense, even after he made the comments he made. I think they probably laughed about them. I think, the offensive line, all brand new guys from other schools, not necessarily first round pick offensive linemen, just kind of journeyman college football players. And I think the scheme, I think Gus Malzahn did a good job in that game, hit them with some things they didn't expect. And I think Alabama they waited too long to kind of wake up in that game, and that's how they got beat. I think if they played again 7 days later, Alabama may have beaten them by 35 or 40, but that's how it went that day. And then I think Florida State's struggles, I think they're better than maybe they played during some of those losses. I think they lost their confidence when they lost that Virginia game and then came back home and got kind of whipped pretty early by Miami. I think they lost confidence. That led to, them losing to Pitt and Stanford. And I think they've kind of woken up from it. At least the last two home games they played better. But they just can't score points on the road. And if you can't score points on the road, you're not going to win.
Ira, you mentioned Malzahn. What about his future, the future of the other assistants on the staff?
Yeah, Malzahn, I just think there's a lot of scenarios for him next year, and I would put him staying at Florida State is the least likely. He told me before the season that when he agreed to come to Florida State, his two choices at the time were he was going to go retire and sit by the beach, or when he talked to Mike Norvell about coming here and be the offensive coordinator, he decided that's what he wanted to do. So I think retirement's an option. I think, there's reports that he spoke to Arkansas about their vacant head coaching position. Maybe, he spoke a lot about how he didn't really want to be a head coach anymore after his time at UCF because of the way the sport has changed. Well, being an assistant coach and being a coordinator may have opened his eyes that he really does like to be in that top spot. Maybe he thinks he's got more gas in the tank. So maybe he looks at a UAB or one of these other jobs. Or I guess theoretically, maybe he goes and takes a coordinator job somewhere else. But I think it seems very unlikely at this point that he'll be back at Florida State next year.
Final moments, Ira Schofel, warchant.com. All right, I mean, I want to get to the game in a moment, Ira, because Florida State still can get bowl eligible with a win. But as far as 2026, I mean, the buyout is still going to be huge next year. Are Florida State fans going to be in the same boat all over again 12 months from now?
I mean, it's hard to predict the future. Yeah, the buyout still will be huge at that point. And if that's how it goes, I mean, if the season goes poorly, then yeah, I mean, I think, and all the people that made this decision, and there's basically three main decision makers at Florida State right now. It's the president of the university, Richard McCullough, the board of trustees chair, Peter Collins, and then the athletic director, Michael Alford. And their names are on that press release when they decide to bring him back. And if it goes poorly next season, yeah, not only is the head coach in trouble, but those people will feel a lot of pressure in their positions as well. So there's a lot at stake on this year. I don't know that they're going to be willing to write the check even next year. And if they do make these kind of overarching changes to the athletic program or to the football department in terms of maybe bringing in a real general manager that kind of runs things on the business side and the personnel side, and you implement all these changes, well, is 1 year enough, or do you have to give that 2 years to see how it plays out? So there's a lot of variables, but I do think if the season is just another disaster, I can't imagine they would bring him back. But, before this season, if you told me they were going to bring him back after 5-7, I would have told you I don't think that's going to happen. And if they lose Saturday to Florida, that's exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah, it's a great point. You talk about the game on Saturday. You'll hear it right here on 1010XL, 4:30 Saturday afternoon. Nothing quite says college football pageantry like a 4:30 kick, Ira, on ESPN2 between Florida State and Florida. Look, the Gators just desperately need the season to end. I mean, the Lane Kiffin stuff is taking up everybody's time. From a Florida State perspective, I mean, they can get bowl eligible with a win. Is that the motivation on Saturday?
100%. That, and obviously both teams are going to want to beat their rival. I think bowl eligibility is a big, driving force certainly for the coaches and for Mike Norvell. I mean, him getting to a bowl game at least would give them something from this season. Otherwise, it's a fourth season finishing under 500 in his 6 seasons as head coach, which is again terrible. So I think getting to 500 would be huge for him. And for the program in terms of you do have a lot of young players, you get some extra practices, you get a chance to play a bowl game and maybe get some momentum going into the offseason. Again, I think that game, if you can tell me who's winning after the first quarter, I think I could probably tell you who's going to win the game, because both of these teams look like they're ready for the season to be over. But if one of them gets a lead, just the thrill of beating your rival might carry them to the finish line.
Ira, I'm curious, your colleagues, the fan base over there, we don't have any idea if Lane Kiffin's coming to Florida or not. But if that were to be the case, if that's where it lands, what would be the thought in Tallahassee of Kiffin being in Gainesville?
I mean, people would probably want to hide the sharp objects from their loved ones. I think, it would be concerning. Doesn't even begin to say it. I mean, I think some people would be a little bit panicked by it because, what Lane Kiffin's done the last few years, and there was a time 4, 5, 6 years ago where he was kind of the punchline of a lot of jokes, but he's obviously done a tremendous job at Ole Miss. I think Florida State, if Mike Norvell had left 2 years ago in an alternate universe, if he had left and if he had gotten the Alabama job instead of Kalen DeBoer and left, that was Lane Kiffin was who they were going to target first. And at that point, they might have been able to get him. The problem now is everybody wants him, and they're in this huge bidding war, and we don't know how that's going to play out. But as of right now, I would say everybody in Tallahassee is rooting like hell for Ole Miss or LSU to get Lane Kiffin. And then, and the reality is those other two schools are going to be in trouble. And that's part of the reason Florida State, I think, didn't make a move also, not just the money, but also because they don't feel like there's a lot of good candidates out there. And so whoever doesn't get Lane Kiffin, imagine the frustration those fan bases are going to have when they settle for whatever they're going to settle for.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. Ira, I tell you this every time I talk to you. You and Corey Clark with that War Chant wrap-up show is absolutely hilarious. I watched it after the NC State game, and Corey is just a trip. Tell people about the War Chant Wrap, warchant.com, and Florida State fans here in Jacksonville what they can expect when they head on over to the website.
I appreciate it, man. Yeah, and the great thing about the War Chant Wrap, and that's when Corey Clark and I, we go on the field after games and diagnose and kind of do our postmortems on what just happened. The great thing about him is we get a lot of non-FSU fans to watch him because the Noles seem to lose every week, and they get to see Corey kind of vent and get exasperated. But yeah, and those are on YouTube. If you go to YouTube and search for War Chant or War Chant Wrap, you'll find that. But warchant.com, we're part of the On3 network, which again now is also partnered with the Rivals network, which was kind of a competitor. Now we're joined. So if you had a Rivals subscription and you carried that over to the new network, you can read all of our content at warchant.com, or if you're part of On3. But if you want to be on the message boards and some of the other premium stuff that you have to be a member for of our particular site, go to warchant.com. There's usually a 1 week free 1 week trial for $1. And then if you stay with it, you get an annual subscription, plus you get a free year with the Athletics. So, yeah, definitely appreciate it. If any Florida State fans want to check us out, even if you read us or were on the site 10, 15 years ago, and you want to know what's happening new in this new era for FSU, come check us out.
Ira Schoffel, warchant.com. Ira, I know you're busy. Thank you so much for the time. Happy Thanksgiving to you and your family, and we'll talk soon, pal.
Same to you, Ryan. Thanks for having me on.
It's for the state, for the pride, and for the fans. Will the Seminoles sink in the swamp?
Chop, chop, chop!
Florida State. Kickoff at 4:30 on Jacksonville's home of Florida Gators football. 1010 XL.
Make Honda of the Avenues your first stop for award-winning customer service and world-class Honda vehicles. Our inventory is larger than ever, which means we have the perfect Honda waiting for you. Plus, at Honda of the Avenues, we always put our customers first, making the car buying experience fun, fast, and easy. You'll always find great deals on our huge selection of new and certified pre-owned Hondas, all prepped and ready for a test drive. Come see just how different car buying can be at Honda of the Avenues today. Stop by or shop from home at HondaoftheAvenues.com. Proud sponsor of Sporting Jags.
Attention skilled electricians. Are you undervalued at your current company? Time to step up to the bigger projects and better opportunities. Join the team at Miller Electric Company, a trusted name in the industry for over 96 years. At Miller, we tackle the biggest projects in the city, offering not just a job, but an experience, top-notch pay, unbeatable benefits, and the best working environments in the business. Please join the team that values your skills and rewards your hard work. Elevate your career to new heights. Apply today at millercareers.com, an equal opportunity employer.
From Spurrier's Playbook to ESPN Studios, Chris Doering knows college football, and he brings his Gator greatness to the drill with Dan and Jeff, Tuesday mornings at 7:20. Protected by the personal injury attorneys of Farah and Farah.
Baloo here for Smoonez Vision. Why Smoonez Vision? Well, I've been with Dr. Neil Smoonez now since I got back to Jacksonville in 2006. 37 years of experience he has. Smoonez Vision is a family organization that focuses on personal high-quality medical and surgical eye care. Dr. Catherine Smoonez is fellowship trained in cornea and cataract surgery and all refractive surgery. Combined, that's 30 years plus in laser eye surgery. Visit SmoonezVision.com today. Care you can see.
Home of the Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Hey, I'm Steffi. You may know me from your social feed. I go big for the holidays, so I'm going to Famous Footwear because the best gifts are giving famous. My friends and family are gonna love all these styles from Nike, Adidas, Crocs, New Balance, Skechers, and more. With over 800 stores, you're never far from the perfect gift. So make your list and make it famous. Come in today for buy one pair, get one half off at your local Famous Footwear or famous.com. Some exclusions apply.
I'm here with Danny Van Sickle, director of the Electrical Training Alliance. Danny, tell me about your program.
Hey, Rick. We're a 4-year electrical apprenticeship. Our students start out making over $40,000 a year, and right now make over $90,000 a year, including benefits. There is no tuition or student debt. You just have to apply and get accepted.
Did you say no tuition and no student debt?
You heard that right, Rick. Once you're accepted to the program, your only cost for the books and the course fees. About $800 a year.
That sounds like an amazing opportunity. How can I learn more?
Just go to etajax.org and you can apply there.
Apply by May 14th.
Hey folks, Mike Dempsey here for Dandy Foods, a Jacksonville family business for nearly 70 years. Heck, I've been talking about them for over a decade. The Thompson family secret, Dandy is never frozen. Always fresh baked bread with quality meats and cheeses, no dry, crumbly subs here, only soft and tasty deliciousness. When I see that logo with the little guy with the cane on the label, it tells me I'm getting a trusted brand and a quality sandwich. So do what I do, stop in at a Circle K and make yours a Dandy today.
This is Mark Nato. My sons and I have seen the doctors and PAs at Southeast Ortho for everything from lumbar spine stress to elbow tendonitis. Southeast has always been there, been truthful, and always been on point. Everything they say happens. We can't thank them enough for what they've done and the great care that they have taken of our sons.
Relieve pain and get back to life. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists. Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you.
Instant Keys saves the day if you have lost or broken keys. They can program new keys and remotes for nearly every make and model of vehicle at a fraction of the dealership cost. Fast, honest, and reliable locksmith service. Call 722-1111.
Instant Keys. Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you.
Hi, I'm John Haney from Clearwater Gutters and Drainage. After heavy rains, the problems are obvious. Mulch blown out of your beds, water standing around your foundation, and that fancy new crater back behind your bushes. Let Clearwater Seamless Gutters help you solve the problem spots.
Clearwater Seamless Gutters. We can't sing a lick, but we sure are good at gutters.
And drainage, too. Find out more at clearwaterjacks.com.
Here's your 1010XL First Coast Community Calendar.
Dreams Come True is a local wish-granting organization giving dreams and special times to local children battling life-threatening illnesses. Find out how you can help at dreamscometrue.org.
The Wounded Warrior Project provides what medicine and technology can't: community, counseling, and a second chance. Find ways to help at woundedwarriorproject.org.
If you're between ages 16 and 24, you can learn a career in construction, electrical, plumbing, or masonry with free training from the AMI Kids Florida Registered Pre-Apprenticeship Program. Call 576-7337.
There's a critical need for all blood types. Please consider donating at a local blood donation center.
If you could benefit from a grief and loss support group, call Haven Hospice at 279-1677.
If you're involved in a community event and you'd like us to help spread the word, find out how at 1010XL.com.
When it comes to glass, you don't want average. You want flawless. Duval Glass and Mirror has transformed homes and businesses across Jacksonville for over 35 years. Frameless showers that wow. Mirrors cut exactly to your style. Fogged or broken glass replaced. Decorative tabletops. Windows replaced or repaired to stand up to Florida storms. All backed by a 100% guarantee. Visit DuvalGlass.com for your free quote. There's only one name for glass and mirror around these parts. It's Duval.
You waited forever for your new fence. Then, strangers show up. Subcontractors rushing the job. Sent by the company you trusted. Frustrating, right? Superior Fence and Rail promises better. Their professionally trained builders deliver quality you can trust. No subcontractors, no shortcuts. Just the superior craftsmanship your home deserves.
When you're on the fence, about a fence, SuperiorFenceandRail.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still, present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch. Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
Halftime, Hacker After Dark, 1 hour down, 1 hour to go. We'll take you up till 10 o'clock as we do every night right here on 1010XL and on 92.5 FM. Coming up in the 9 o'clock hour. Back into the Jacksonville Jaguars about 15 minutes or so from now. Travis Holmes of Big Cat Country. You can also check him out as the host of the Duval Dive podcast. We will catch up with Travis, preview the Tennessee Titans game. That comes up in about 15 minutes. Also towards the bottom of the 9 o'clock hour, the coach, Gerald Ingram. You get him every week with myself and Leon Searcy on the fifth quarter. We'll talk with the coach. 18 years as a running back coach in the National Football League as we get ready for the Jaguars and the Titans Sunday, 1 o'clock. You know, there used to be a world, and it's still an exciting weekend, but good grief. You had Florida State on Saturday, Jaguars Titans on Sunday. Whew. Unfortunately, this year you got the 5-6 Seminoles at the 3-8 Florida Gators. And you got the Jaguars, 7-4. The Jaguars are the only one of the four that have kept their end of the bargain up, taking on the lowly 1-10 Tennessee Titans. But again, I would be careful with that. The Titans, although they're 1-10, although I believe they have the worst record in the National Football League, they are playing better. They have been in the last couple of games against some pretty good teams. So the Jaguars certainly need to be careful in Nashville on Saturday. So Denmark, I was looking at the college football rankings. As we talked about earlier, the new rankings are out. We'll go 1 to 12 for you in a moment. But my interest was piqued because Miami, they have listed as the 12th team in the rankings. And they have them in, or ESPN has them in their bracket right now that was released tonight. Miami's going to need a lot of help, it looks like, though, just to get in the ACC championship game. They have 2 conference losses. They do play Pitt, right? So if they beat Pitt, they'd have the head-to-head over Pitt, which would put them ahead of Pitt. But they still would need a Virginia loss or an SMU loss, I believe, to get into the ACC championship game. And I would have to imagine the folks at the Atlantic Coast Conference in Charlotte are really, really, really hoping that that happens. What will the attendance be in Charlotte, North Carolina for Virginia and SMU in the ACC championship game if that's the case? I guess it would be for a playoff spot, though, right? If Virginia and SMU got together. Now, in the Southeastern Conference, again, there's all sorts of tiebreakers here. And this is what makes it a little more confusing. Back in the day, it was your East Division champion versus your West Division champion. And there was really no math or decimal points that went into it. Well, now that's not the case. I believe, Denmark, and you and I were talking about this last night, there are still 4 teams alive for the SEC championship game: Texas A&M, Georgia, Alabama, and Ole Miss. And I guess the simplest thing is if A&M wins, then they're in because they're undefeated, obviously, and they would most likely play, I guess,
Alabama.
Is it Alabama?
Yeah, because Alabama, if they win Saturday, they're in for sure.
Okay, because Alabama, Georgia, and Ole Miss would all have 1 loss, and I guess it would go to head-to-head at that point.
Well, Alabama's beat Georgia, but for some reason, I don't think Alabama played Ole Miss this
No, they
year.
didn't. Georgia beat Ole Miss. Alabama and Ole Miss didn't play one another. So I don't know. Maybe I think I read somewhere where it would have to go to some other tiebreaker scenario since the 3 teams with 1 loss did not play each other because it wouldn't be fair to Ole Miss, right?
Well, it says the SEC, like the official SEC Twitter account put Alabama, if they win, they're in.
Okay. Well, I guess then there would be some sort of a tie-break scenario there. So that's the simplest thing. If A&M wins and if Alabama wins, that's your SEC championship game. What would really complicate things, if A&M loses, then you would have 4 teams with 1 loss, and then I don't even know what would happen under those circumstances. With the way the rankings came out tonight, and again, if you're just joining us, Ohio State 1, Indiana 2, A&M 3, Georgia 4, Texas Tech 5. Let's stop right there. Regardless of what happens this weekend, are we in agreement that those 5 are in regardless of the outcome of this week's games? I agree. Oregon at 6. Are they in regardless of what they do this weekend? All right. How far down do we go? Ole Miss at 7.
I think the conversation starts there.
Okay, if they lose the Egg Bowl, the conversation would start at Ole Miss.
If they lose, and then if Lane Kiffin leaves, and Brett McMurphy just tweeted out he talked to somebody that's somebody on the committee and said that it'll be considered for Ole Miss to be going down seeds if Lane Kiffin does leave.
See, I don't look when Jordan Travis was hurt for Florida State. That's your starting quarterback. I mean, I get that. If the coach leaves, but all the players are there, the players that played on the field and won all the games, I just don't know how you would drop them under that scenario. But that seems to be a talking point. Boy, I'll tell you, if that happens, if Lane Kiffin leaves, and if for some reason Ole Miss loses the Egg Bowl and gets left out of the playoffs because of that, I mean, if Ole Miss wins, I don't care if Kiffin leaves or not, they're in the playoff. But if they lose, Kiffin leaves and the committee keeps him out, I don't know, Denmark. I would not agree with that. The Jordan Travis thing was one thing.
Well, and Jordan Travis and Florida State played 2 games where he didn't play. So Lane Kiffin's with the team, and then if he leaves, you still don't know what the interim coach is going to do.
Yeah.
But I mean, this obviously, if they lose. If they lose, yeah, I don't think they should be in the playoff.
I mean, if they win, I don't care if Kiffin's the coach or if I'm the coach. If they're 11-1 and they're ranked number 7 this week, they're going to be in the playoff. Oklahoma 8. Oklahoma probably needs to beat LSU, one would think, to get in. Notre Dame 9. They probably need to win. Alabama 10. Now, there's an interesting one. Alabama is 10 right now. If they beat Auburn and get into the SEC championship game, and then they were to lose to A&M to get their 3rd loss, could that potentially cost Alabama a playoff spot?
Yes.
I think it probably could, and I don't
you're
think
saying
it
the
should.
same thing with Miami. If they find a way to make the ACC title and then they lose, it's like you're playing this extra game. I wonder how much the committee is going to fault them.
See, here's my thing with that, though. And again, I'd have to get clarity on this. Miami's 12, Virginia's 16. Virginia is ahead of Miami in the ACC standings. If Virginia wins this week and wins the ACC title game, they got to get the ACC bid into the playoff, right, for being the ACC champion. So I don't know if that would automatically knock Miami out in that situation. I don't know how you would not take the ACC champion and you would take Miami over a Virginia or even an SMU. That would be odd to me. But we'll see. Look, Vanderbilt 14. They're probably on the outside looking in right now. They play Tennessee. Beating Tennessee would help them, but I don't know if they're going to be able to jump enough. Utah is down to 13 because they survived Kansas State. Utah probably needs some help. I'll give you another one, Michigan. Michigan is at 15 right now. If they were to knock off number 1 Ohio State, would that give Michigan enough mustard to get in to the top 12? It'll be fascinating to see how it plays out. Again, the story around here is Florida State. The story nationally is rivalry week heading into championship weekend to figure out who the 12 teams will be in the college football playoff. Of course, we're never too far away from the Jacksonville Jaguars. They head to Nashville on Sunday to take on their arch rival, their nemesis, the 1-10 Tennessee Titans. Let's preview Jaguars-Titans. Let's look back on the win over Arizona. Travis Holmes, you read him at Big Cat Country. You also see him as the host of the Duval Dive podcast, talking Jaguar football with you next on a Tuesday night here in Jacksonville, Florida. We're glad you're with us till 10 o'clock. It's Hacker After Dark.
Game day doesn't end after the game. It's not complete without the window world of Northeast Florida fifth quarter with Hacker Leon and Coach Gerald Ingram. Flavored by Hurricane Grill and Wings and Apex Roofing and Contracting on 1010XL.
Bueller, stay cooler with Bueller.
Jason, I called you about the ductwork in my attic this summer, and you totally blew me off.
I did.
My airflow is too low and my bills are too high.
I know.
There's stains on my ceiling tiles and sweating around the vents, and the mice have chewed so many holes in the ducts, I think they're getting more AC than I am.
I know.
Then how could you let me suffer all summer, Jason?
Because summer is the one time of year I just can't send my technician into someone's steaming hot attic. They'd kill me. Ductwork is hot, cramped work at the best of times. Lucky for you, those best of times are in November.
You mean like now?
Bueller Air and Plumbing can repair your old, damaged, or just plain sketchy ductwork right now when it's not too hot and not too cold.
And none of your technicians will kill you.
It's a win-win.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
Hey folks, Frank Frangie here for Lee and Kate's Glass. Now with the holidays coming, it's time to update that dated-looking bathroom setup and give yourself the gift of a gorgeous new frameless shower with big, sexy glass you spend every morning and night in that bathroom. A new shower enclosure from Lee and Kate's Glass will look fantastic and make your bathroom feel like a luxurious spa. You'll love it. You deserve it. Request a free in-home consultation. Visit LeeandKatesGlass.com.
You're gonna see a big difference.
If you have cane fever, you'll get your weekly dose of Miami football on the Hurricane Report.
I'm JJ LaSelva. This season, I'll keep you close to Coral Gables with the Hurricane Report on 1010XL.
Proudly protected by Performance Painting.
Waiting around for Black Friday? At Beaver Toyota, Beaver Chevrolet, and Beaver Mitsubishi, we've already dropped Black Friday prices. That's right, thousands of vehicles priced to move now. Get zero down, no payments for 90 days, plus peace of mind with a lifetime warranty. Don't wait for the crowds. Get your Black Friday deal today. Start saving early with Beaver Toyota, Beaver Chevrolet, and Beaver Mitsubishi, where Black Friday starts right now. That'll wow you.
What is the oldest team in the NFL? The answer coming up.
For over 20 years, Southern Oak Insurance has given Floridians a better alternative to their current homeowners policy. See what you can get with Southern Oak. Log on to southernoak.com.
Our family protecting yours. Southern Oak Insurance.
The oldest team in the NFL, the Arizona Cardinals, founded in 1898 as the Morgan Athletic Club.
Southern Oak Insurance, our family protecting yours.
It's Thanksgiving week, and Monahan Jewelers has the best deals in town with up to 40% off the entire store. Thousands of beautiful pieces are all on sale with fantastic prices on our entire inventory, including up to 30% off on GIA certified diamonds. We're your local family jeweler, so come visit us today and on Small Business Saturday for up to 40% off on diamond studs, engagement rings, colored gemstones, our designer brands, custom design, everything. The name you can trust in fine jewelry, Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach.
Hey, this is Lauren Brooks. With over 1,700 five-star Google reviews, it was a no-brainer to have Closets by Design help us get organized at home. They create custom storage for every space, lifestyle, and budget. From closets to garages to laundry rooms and more. Closets by Design will transform clutter into seamless organization. Call today to schedule your free in-home consultation before the holidays and get 40% off plus an extra 15% off with free installation. 18-month financing is available. Call 878-9393 or visit closetsbydesign.com.
Checkmate Coatings. Your floor's missing piece. Premium flooring. Take our advice. Home of business. Affordable price. Driveways, pool decks, garage doors, beautiful patios, and more to explore. Checkmate Coatings. Your floor's missing piece.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah. Now, another great guest on the Checkmate Coatings phone line. Hello. Your floor's missing piece.
Back here on 1010XL at 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. Jaguars Titans, Sunday, 1 o'clock up in Nashville. Of course, you'll hear the game right here on 1010XL. The Jaguars coming off a big victory in overtime on the road in Arizona last Sunday. Now sit at 7-4 on the year, one game out of the AFC South lead. Let's review Arizona. Let's preview Tennessee with Travis Holmes, Big Cat Country, and the Duval Dive podcast. Travis is always kind enough to join us here on Hacker After Dark. Travis, how you doing, man?
Whew. I mean, I am out of energy. That game in Arizona was ridiculous, chaotic, all the words, and at the end of the day, those guys are 7-4 and 3-0 on the West Coast. You probably couldn't ask for much better, entering this 2025 season, man.
It has to be a roller coaster. I mean, it can't ever be easy, I guess, outside of the Charger game. So much to get into from Sunday, but at the end of the day, no Anton Harrison, no Brian Thomas Jr., no Trayvon Walker, no Jordan Lewis, no Travis Hunter, obviously. You turn the ball over 4 times, and yet you still find a way to win the game. Boy, what a victory on Sunday on the road.
Indeed. What a victory it was. I mean, they came out hot, and that gave me pause. I'm like, all right, yeah, the Jaguars finally coming out hot. This thing's going to be a great day for Jacksonville. They're going to boat race this team by 20 points like, Seattle did, like the 49ers did. And then the big six, the big six, the fumble recovery for a touchdown happens, and okay, now they have a dogfight. They found a way to overcome adversity, and sometimes or often that adversity was themselves allowing a team that they probably could have put away early to stay in the game. But at the end of the day, it's about the W on the on the column or the L on the column, and they found a way to get that win. But yeah, it was a weird sort of game where you kind of look back at it and like, oh man, it wasn't the way that you'd want it to look, but it was a road game on the West Coast as an East Coast team. And that's the part that always is going to give me a little bit of pause. It's going to try to give me I have to give a little bit of grace there, just because if you know anything about most teams' records going from one coast to the other, generally it's not great. And if it is great, you probably have a really good team. And I'm pausing before saying this Jacksonville Jaguars team is a really good team, because I don't truly think that that's necessarily the case. But I do think that at minimum, they probably are really well coached. So I would give credit to Liam Cohen, Anthony Campanelli, Grant Udisky, and that staff, because I think at the end of the day, this 4-win team in 2024 has now won 7 games in the first 11 in 2025, including being 3-0 on coast-to-coast visits, and that's kind of noteworthy.
There's no doubt. And I think they had won like 4 games ever west of Denver coming into this year, and now they've won 3 in 2025 alone. Travis Holmes, Big Cat Country, and the Duval Dive podcast. Travis, a lot of talk about Trevor Lawrence. Obviously, there was a lot of bad on Sunday. But with that being said, I mean, that throw to Parker Washington for the touchdown in the back of the end zone, I'm not sure how many quarterbacks in the league can do that. And then he leads them down for the field goal drive in overtime. That's, I believe, his 4th or 5th game-winning drive for the Jaguars this year in the 4th quarter or in overtime. We got the full Trevor Lawrence experience on Sunday.
Yeah, man, you got the full Bitcoin experience. You don't know what you're going to get. You don't know where it's going to land. You just know it's going to be exciting. It's going to boom or it's going to bust, but you hopefully will enjoy it. And if you don't, well, this is the chaos of, unfortunately, the Trevor Lawrence experience. But you got the victory on this Sunday, and you were able to get that game-winning drive primarily because the quarterback put you in a situation where you had to have that game-winning drive. So you will love to give him credit. That is absolutely owed and due for sticking in, for not crumbling, for having that mental strength to kind of continue with it. Like, unlike the Philadelphia Eagles game, what was it, in 2023, the reigning game where he had the 4 turnovers and all of a sudden they just couldn't buy a first down? That wasn't this. He had the multiple turnovers where you're just like slamming tablets where you want to punch something, and he finds a way. Immediately the next series goes 4 for 4, it's straight down the field and gets the touchdown. And you don't feel that stress, you don't feel that angst, you don't feel that tightness in your chest as the Jaguars fans. And I'm sure the guys on the sideline would probably tell you the same, because you don't believe, like, you truly believe that he will bring you back despite whatever kind of game he has going on. And that's positive. I mean, you still got to find a way to beat, to not have those turnovers happen, to beat the better teams. But on a Sunday by Sunday basis, man, it was really encouraging while also really infuriating. But that's both sides of the coin.
Let's talk about the Penn State combo with Brenton Strange and Parker Washington. You really saw what the Jaguars were missing without Brenton Strange, Travis. I think he and Parker combined 10 grabs for $164 and a touchdown. Parker was great as well, not only on offense but special teams. Look, those two guys, third-year players, are both going to make a lot of money probably this offseason.
I would think so. I mean, the fact of the matter is, it's weird to me that Parker Washington is the Jaguars' leading receiver right now. And I don't think anyone in Jacksonville would have ever predicted that in this offseason. That's the wildest piece of this. Obviously, injuries have something to do with that, with Travis Hunter being on IR. Brian Thomas Jr. has been struggling with his injury for a few weeks now. But nevertheless, the boys producing. Parker Washington is like balling out of control, both on special teams. I mean, leading the NFL in punt return average, and also in the receiving side of things. And then you finally get Brenton Strange back in the fold, and immediately lets you know what you were missing. I mean, he has his 93 yards receiving, still being extremely dominant in the run game to kind of help seal those edges. Like, overall, those two have been very. I mean, they've had a very promising 2025. Hopefully they continue, wrap this thing up strong. And when Brian Thomas Jr. gets back, we'll see kind of where he fits into all of this. For me, that's a very, very big kind of lingering question because he is your quote unquote wide receiver one who hasn't been playing like one. But now that you've seen what this offense can do with Brenton Strange and Parker Washington and Jacoby Myers, who are all guys who you can truly depend on to catch the ball, to run accurate routes, to settle down in the zones at the right spots, where does that leave Brian Thomas Jr. in all of this?
Couple of more for Travis Holmes of Big Cat Country and the host of the Duval Dive podcast. All right, we've criticized the defense a lot for the lack of pass rush, Travis. That was certainly not the case on Sunday. And it wasn't just Hines Allen, who I thought had another really good game. The two youngsters, Strigow and B.J. Green, Eric Armstead was getting some penetration. I thought, the blitz packages for Antonio Johnson, Jarian Jones, Dewey Wingert, I'll give Campanile credit on that. Certainly they affected Jacoby Brissett on Sunday.
They surely did. And obviously, the Cardinals' offensive line being a little bit hobbled, that helped the Jaguars. They put their starting right tackle on IR the week of the game, and that, again, helped the Jaguars. But the Jaguars were also doing it without Travon Walker. So the fact of the matter is they found a way to get it done against Jacoby Brissett. I sort of thought that the Jaguars would have a multi-sack game this week. I actually wrote the same thing on Big Cat Country on Tuesday. Sacks, hits, and havoc articles. It was one of those time to throw versus time to pressure kind of situations. Jacoby Brissett generally likes to hold the ball, sort of like Justin Herbert also does. He wants to get those explosives down the field. So because of that, I thought the Jaguars would have a little bit more success again this week. Just getting to him, or at least having those opportunities to get hits on him, it was just going to come down to whether or not they were going to be able to bring him down. They did. 6 sacks, 7 quarterback hits. I'm not even sure what the pressure numbers are as far as PFF is concerned, but I'm sure they were in the double digits. Like the Jaguars had, it was over 40? So that's pretty crazy. Like the Jaguars did very well overall to make Jacoby Brissett uncomfortable. And yes, he had a 300-yard game, but he also had a boatload of attempts. So normally, when you got 49 attempts, you're going to hit 300 yards. That'd be crazy if you didn't. But I thought the defense played very well. I thought the pressure packages, to your point, were well drawn up by Anthony Campanile to get some free hits on the quarterback. And I thought the guys just didn't miss the tackles when those opportunities present themselves against a bigger quarterback. So kudos to Campanile, kudos to the defense for just being disciplined in their rush packages and kind of just getting it done.
All right, Travis, they head to Nashville on Sunday, the 1-10 Titans. Although, you look at the Titans' last 3 games, they've lost them by a combined 16 points. They've been in all of these games. They're playing a little better, but they are 1-10. Clearly, Jacksonville can't overlook anybody with the way they play. Evidence of that on Sunday in Arizona. What's your early thought on Jags Titans?
It's the same as this week, and that's the weirdest thing to say because I'm now going to be saying the same thing 3 weeks in a row. But honestly, this is where I land. The Jaguars are now going to face, for the 3rd week in a row, a quarterback who loves to hold the ball in Cam Ward, a team who's going to be feisty if you allow them to stay in the game early on, which they've shown. Now, again, 3 weeks straight, the Tennessee Titans, and the 7-point loss against the Chargers, 3-point loss against the Texans, and a 6-point loss against the Seahawks. If you dominate the game in the first quarter, in the first half, the game's probably over because you can get them to quit. But if you don't, you're going to give yourself a dogfight. The Jaguars were able to find a way to win in a dogfight against Arizona. That won't happen every week. Obviously, that will not. So don't play with fire. Come out strong, and don't allow teams to come back in the game by having those unnecessary or untimely turnovers. And I think the Jaguars will exit this week at 8-4. So hopefully they will.
Travis, leave us with this. Interesting dynamic, too, with the Texans going to the Colts. Conventional thinking would be Jaguar fans should be rooting for Houston. Yet I'm not sure if you don't necessarily want to root for Indy to put another loss on the Texans. What's your thought there?
Ooh, it just depends on this. So this is one of those, are you an optimistic or are you a pessimistic media person, or optimistic or a pessimistic fan? That's basically the question that's being asked. Do you believe that Jaguars won't fumble some of these games and lose them, allowing the Texans to get back into this thing? Or do you believe the Jaguars have a realistic opportunity of, dominating these remaining AFC South games and jumping the Colts? That's basically where this lies. Like, if you believe the Jaguars are going to secure the bag in, essence, and win these games that they should win, then you absolutely you root for the Texans to win, and that just helps you out with the Colts and becoming your AFC South champions. If you think the Jaguars might lose one of these games and you just don't trust it because, well, you've seen what's happened, there's some chaotic wins and chaotic losses, then maybe you want the Texans to fall back and just secure the wild card spot at least. And that's kind of where I lie. Hey, man, I'm never going to root for either of these teams, so it's a win-win in either case because they're both in the AFC South. But I'm probably the fan of let the Texans beat the Colts and Jaguars just handle business, and maybe you'll be AFC South champions. Maybe you can even host a playoff game.
Travis, tell us about Big Cat Country and the Duval Dive podcast, the coverage you'll have leading up to Sunday's game in Nashville.
Well, we're going to give you all the updates as far as from any of the pressers upcoming this week, any updates as far as the injuries are concerned. Maybe the Jaguars can get Jordan Lewis, Anton Harrison, Travon Walker, or one of those guys back, Brian Thomas Jr. But also we'll see what's happening with where the numbers lie as far as the pass rush is concerned. Maybe we have another opportunity for an additional, pass rush multi-sack game with Anthony Campanelli's defense. We'll see what the numbers kind of shake out there. And at the Duval Dive podcast I believe that's actually going to be on Wednesday this week. We're going to have the guys over from the Jungle Beat to preview the Tennessee game and just to kind of recap this game. And it's going to be a very interesting, week because, again, you're going against a one-win Tennessee Titans team. This should be a victory, but also we've seen in many years past that where a bad AFC South team can beat any other AFC South team because it's just always chaotic like that. So it's going to be an interesting conversation. So log in. So tune in at the Duval Dive on YouTube or wherever you get your podcast and the Big Cat Country site so we can get you guys covered with guys on the ground.
Travis Holmes, Big Cat Country, and the Duval Dive podcast. Travis, happy Thanksgiving to you and your family. We'll talk soon, pal.
Yes, sir. To you and yours.
Offense, defense, special teams.
Offense, defense, and special teams all contribute.
We got ourselves a roster.
After the game, pump up the Superior Plumbing Special Teams Player of the Game.
They got to match IATIS
on 1010XL.
Chelsea here, ready to upgrade your windows or patio doors? During Renewal by Anderson's Black Friday sales event, buy now and pay nothing until 2027. That's 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for 2 full years. Our Acclaim Impact windows are built for Florida homes, designed to help you save on energy bills while keeping your home comfortable all year round. Restrictions apply. Visit bestwindowsflorida.com to schedule your free in-home design consultation. License number CGC 1527613. Renewal by Anderson, where comfort meets savings.
Greenlaw Group is for the insured. If you think you have roof damage, call 904-302-7055 today, and they will schedule you a free roof inspection. Trust their law firm to help you fight your insurance when you need it. These storms can cause damage you may not even see yet. Call Greenlaw Group 302-7055. There's no cost to retain their law firm and no cost to have your roof inspected. They only get paid if you win. Greenlaw Group, for the insured.
When you need an oil change, don't waste your day waiting around. At Valvoline Instant Oil Change, you'll be in and out in 15 minutes, and you never leave your car. No appointment needed, just drive in. With multiple convenient Jacksonville locations and a 4.7-star customer rating, Valvoline is trusted nationwide and ranked the #1 quick lube in America by Forbes for customer service. Fast, easy, reliable. Valvoline Instant Oil Changes. Drive in today.
SportsForecaster.com has all the data you need to project tomorrow's winners. Register for free and track the performance of all your favorite players and teams, including all your fantasy team picks and prospects. Sports Forecaster has the most detailed player profiles on the web, precise depth charts, every transaction, every injury, every news update. No ranting or raving, no preening or barstool bluster. At SportsForecaster.com, you get the timely info you need for every game. SportsForecaster.com. Sign up for free today.
Hey, it's Matt Hayes, and this holiday season, Leonard Truck Outfitters and 1010XL are helping you deck the truck. Stop by either Leonard's location, Blanding Boulevard in Orange Park or Beach Boulevard in Jacksonville, and it'll take you 1 minute to enter. You could win a deck-fed storage system with Cargo Glide, installed by the pros at Leonard. We'll draw the winner Friday, December 19 during XL Primetime, live from the Beach Boulevard store. Plus, you'll score Florida-Georgia basketball tickets and a Gator National Championship commemorative basketball. It's easy, it's fast, and you could win big. So head to Leonard Truck Outfitters today and deck the truck.
Lucas Tree Service is a certified arborist and a local family-owned business with over 45 years of experience. They specialize in tree removal, trimming, and stump grinding for both residential and commercial properties. Get prepared for storm season and receive top-notch customer service from Lucas Tree Service, 904-241-3533. Online at lucastreeservice.com.
Frank Frangie here for Coil Fencing. Jacksonville is full of memorable sports moments. Just recently, Cam Little was good from 68 yards to set an NFL field goal record. You know who else goes the distance? The team at Coil Fencing. Coil is A-plus rated with the Better Business Bureau and has been serving the Jacksonville community for nearly 100 years. From sleek aluminum fencing your HOA will love to tough chain link for your commercial project. Coil does it all. Visit CoilJacks.com. That's C-O-Y-L-E Jacks.com. Coil Fencing, partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Jacksonville is my hometown, and nobody knows roofing like me. I'm Ronnie, the owner of Brandon Roofing. We handle everything from repairs to full roof replacements, start to finish. We give honest quotes, use quality materials, and clean up like we were never there. We all look at Google reviews, so go ahead and check out ours. We're proud of all our 5-star ratings. I would say we treat you like family, but some people don't like theirs. Go to BrandonRoofing.com today to schedule your free roof quote.
License number CCC 1328006.
Oh, no.
Ah, that's the sound of someone who's misplaced
My debit card.
their debit card.
Where did I leave that thing?
Not at the gas pump, or the checkout counter, or the roof of your car. Now, if he has the Chase mobile app, he can use Card Lock.
Wait, I could just lock my card.
Yep, just a few tippy taps on his phone, and that sound? That's peace of mind from Chase.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank N.A. member FDIC.
Jacksonville, hunting season is here, and nobody gears you up like Green Acres Sporting Goods, home of the largest archery pro shop in Northeast Florida. They've got everything for all seasons: archery, black powder, and general gun season. Green Acres is a fully stocked Browning dealer with ammo, accessories, and safes. Don't miss out on Florida's Second Amendment sales tax holiday, happening now through the end of the year. Gear up today at greenacresporting.com.
Brackish Vodka, the spirit of the sportsman and proud partner of the Jaguars, is now available at the Fresh Market Spirits and Wine. The Fresh Market Spirits and Wine is a new adult beverage store offering spirits, wine, beer, and accessories at A1A North in Ponte Vedra, a first-of-its-kind destination for thoughtfully curated spirits, wine, and beer as only the Fresh Market can. And now, you can get Brackish Vodka at the Fresh Market. Brackish Vodka, for whatever your sport is. Proud partner of the Jaguars.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still, present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch. Now, the cool down with Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing, keeping Jack's cool since 1987.
Back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville, we are glad you are with us. The Jaguars and the Titans, Sunday, 1 o'clock. Of course, you'll hear the game right here on 1010XL. The Jaguars coming off an overtime win on the road in Arizona, their second road overtime victory of the year. They now sit at 7-4, and what an outcome last week was. And what a big week in the AFC South. The Jaguars play Tennessee, and of course Indianapolis, who leads the division. They host the suddenly striving Houston Texans. Let's talk about all of it with the coach, Gerald Ingram. You get him every week on the fifth quarter. 18 years as a running back coach in the National Football League, and the coach is always kind enough to join us here on Hacker After Dark. Coach, how we doing, bud?
Oh, it's a better morning today. Much better morning.
Boy, it's certainly, you look at what happened last Sunday, and let's just go back to everything that transpired, but from a mile-high view, first and foremost, getting a win in that fashion, in overtime, the second time on the road the Jaguars have won in overtime. Coach, what was your biggest takeaway from the win in Arizona?
Well, it's the number one thing is the resilience again of this team to fight and overcome, your opponent as well as your own self issues. And hats off to the defense and their way to respond under the duress of the situation. And it's the NFL for a lot of teams in the NFL. And Monday mornings that day to look back and reevaluate things, look at the mirror. But a win is a win, and it goes into history books 20 years from now. Nobody's going to care how you played, but you won. And if we stack these wins up, that's all that matters. But nobody takes the game harder than a position coach, a head coach, because you always turn around and feel, you look in the mirror and you say, what did I do wrong? I told them 100 times, and what's wrong with 101? What's wrong with 102 times? What's wrong with 104 times? On the execution. The execution is what we as fans and coaches, we all look for. And the roller coaster ups and downs of this game is a hard take. But, a win is a win, and how they find a way to come back and win is much needed. It's the biggest lesson learned, in that locker room. There are some people that are stepping up that have never thought that this year would have to step up and be accounted for, and they're showing a lot of grit and a lot of pride. No matter how you may not like how things are, some things work out, but the end run is the win.
The craziest stat from last Sunday's game is going back to the beginning of the 2021 season in the NFL, teams that were +4 in the turnover differential, like Arizona was, were 50-0. They're now 50-1. The fact that Jacksonville -4 in turnovers, also, by the way, no Trayvon Walker, no Anton Harrison, no Jordan Lewis, no Brian Thomas Jr. You could argue 4 of the top 10, 4 of the top dozen guys coming into the year on the overall roster. And despite all that, you still win the game in overtime. You brought up the term resiliency a lot on the fifth quarter last week, and I think that's exactly right. This team was very, very resilient once again.
Yes, and the changing of the culture on believing that you play 4 quarters, you play, 60 to 70 plays, and hopefully you stack up enough plays that you're in position to win. And the culture of the past looks like it's changing because we used to lose these type of games. And now we look like we're finding a way to win these type of games at this point in time. And we have to continue that and grow to be better, because once you put yourself in the position in the playoffs, it's a new season and you want perfection because you're nearing being the best of the best. And that's what's great about winning the Super Bowl. When it's over, you kind of touch yourself and say, you're the best in the world of what you do. And it's a collective of the whole season into that playoff, one game at a time. So we got 6 games to go, and it's about one game, and that's all that matters this week. As much as we hate Tennessee, you better hate losing more than you hate Tennessee.
The coach Gerald Ingram with us here on Hacker After Dark. Jaguars Titans Sunday 1 o'clock. You'll hear it right here on 1010XL. Coach Trevor Lawrence was not good at times against Arizona. I'm not breaking any news there. But I will say this. I mean, a quarterback with a 3-interception, 4 total turnover game can sometimes go into a shell. Sometimes woe is me and start feeling down on themselves. Trevor, with a couple of touchdown throws, including the one to Parker Washington in the fourth quarter, that was a big-time throw, taking him down the field to get him that field goal in overtime. You mentioned resiliency again with Trevor Lawrence, and I think that's exactly right. As bad as it was at times, Trevor did enough to win the game. And by the way, that's another fourth quarter or overtime drive to lead the Jaguars to victory. I think that's like 4 or 5 times Trevor has done that so far this year.
You know, we can say a lot of things about Trevor, but there's one thing you have to like about this kid. The fight doesn't stop. He might make a mistake. He owns the mistake. And then he's like, what can I do? Just give me one more shot to make up for what I did wrong. It's just, you know, you can't believe some of the things he does, but he does. And he just sees it as part of the game and he moves on. But he's got the fight to say, you know, I can do better next time, coach. Just give me one more shot. And you got to love that about the kid. So we're going to need him to be better down the road. He knows he's got to be better down the road because, and, you know, he's not trying to apologize for the win, but he apologized to the defense, you know, for putting them, 14 points, you know, in those kind of situations. And they responded. And that's what you want your defense to do as a head coach and coordinator, that you handle your, you know, everybody handles their side and nobody finger points, and we find a way to win.
I think Sunday also showed what this team could be capable of when guys eventually come back. Like we said, no Anton Harrison, no Jordan Lewis, no Brian Thomas Jr., no Trayvon Walker, but they did get Brenton Strange back. And it was obvious, Coach, very quickly how much this offense missed Brenton Strange. 5 catches, 93 yards, was also vital in the run blocking scheme. Welcome sight to have Brenton Strange back in the lineup.
Oh, he looked fresh out there. He looked fast. He looked determined. He looked confident. I mean, he looked like the guy we're missing, you know, that we've been missing. And not to discredit the other tight ends, and, you know, they've tried to respond as well as he can, but you know, he just looked like he had fresh legs out there, and he looked good, and he responded. He played well.
Final moments with the coach, Gerald Ingram. We've gotten on to the defense about the lack of pass rush. That was not the case on Sunday. 6 quarterback sacks, and it was a bunch of guys, right? Hines Allen, Gardeck. I really like the 2 young guys in B.J. Green and Danny Strigow, Antonio Johnson. And I loved what Campanile did with the loss of Trayvon Walker in the lineup. He had to find ways to affect the quarterback, and he did by blitzing Antonio Johnson, blitzing Jarrian Jones, blitzing Dewey Wingard. Certainly they affected Jacoby Brissett on Sunday.
Oh, definitely. You know, and you have to give him credit at halftime to playing more coverage, more man coverage at times, and you have to be careful on how much man coverage but they had to find a way to tighten up the coverage. And adjusting to the man coverage was because the kid was just, Brissett was picking us apart in zone coverage. And we were struggling to cover tight end again, you know, which, you know, but the final play, we covered, we doubled the tight end, Wingard made a heck of a play to be able to help the corner in that situation. So, you know, there were some good things going out there, but the front interior people pressured the quarterback, and we left some out there. I mean, there were some times where, Allen was close to a couple of other sacks, you know, and there were some pressures going on out there, no matter if it was a 5-man pressure or a 4-man rush, or, you know, the blitzes definitely helped. You know, even to the point where the quarterback was confused on his, you know, what he should call, and getting, you know, trying to get out of a play and into another play and end up being zone coverage. So their game plan at halftime really made a difference.
Coach, as we wrap up, we got about 2 minutes to go. Liam Cohen said this in the postgame locker room. He also said it in the postgame press conference on Sunday. They're not going to apologize for winning games. I mean, is it the prettiest thing ever on Sunday? Was it a work of art? Of course not. But like you said at the top, at the end of the day, whether it's 50-0 or 27-24 in overtime, a win's a win. It is hard to win in this league. And the Jacksonville Jaguars, who won 4 games all of last year, have already won 7 games by Thanksgiving this season. And it was a great team W on the road Sunday in Phoenix.
Yes. I mean, like you said, you don't ever apologize for, I don't care who you are. I don't think anybody's ever apologized for bad play and a win. A win is a win, and then it's over. But today's Monday morning, and we all know what our expectations of and our level of play means. So it's a teaching lesson. So this morning, he's doing a lot of teaching to a lot of players, and a lot of young players that played that game, because you not only have to correct your veteran players, but you got to make sure that your young players don't make those kind of mistakes, because they get paid too. Okay. So if there's a tendency that you're showing and they see it and they responded, your next opponent's going to do the same thing. So you got to analyze yourself for this next game and not think that, hey, just because Tennessee is who they are, that's the biggest lesson this week, that you don't take, we didn't take the Cardinals lightly, that you don't go into Tennessee and take them lightly. Yeah, they may look like they're cashing it in, but you got to play the game in the NFL each week.
Coach, we got to go real quick, but you piqued my interest. And I know we talked about this on the fifth quarter. Final question. They are playing the 1-10 Titans with a gargantuan game against Indianapolis the following Sunday here in Jacksonville. Any concern for you of an overlook for Jacksonville, or do you think Liam Cohen will have these guys ready to go into Nashville?
Well, I think he'll have them ready because of the history of us going into Nashville, who they are, what this season means to us, not letting things slip away. It almost slipped away yesterday, but it didn't slip away. Don't be the one. Each week in the NFL, you could be the one, okay, that gave them the extra win. So let's not be the one, and let's play up to our abilities and don't look too far forward.
The coach, Gerald Ingram, 18 years as a running back coach in the National Football League. You get him every week here on Hacker After Dark, and you get him every Sunday on the fifth quarter, and he will be with us, myself and the Pro Bowler Leon Searcy, Sunday, 2 hours after the Jaguars and the Titans go final right here on 1010XL. Coach, happy Thanksgiving to you and your family, and I will see you Sunday evening, my friend.
Happy Thanksgiving to you and Duval.
And thank you to the coach, Gerald Ingram, for joining us tonight here on Hacker After Dark. You get the coach every week here on Hacker After Dark. You also get him Sundays on the fifth quarter alongside myself and the Pro Bowler Leon Searcy, 2 hours after each Jaguar game goes final. Always love talking to Coach Ingram about the previous game. Obviously, the Jaguars' big win over Arizona. And now Thanksgiving week, right? A lot of distractions, and they go to play a 1-10 Tennessee Titan team, but a Titan team that is playing better. And like I've said so far this week, man, I'll continue to say it. If there's any team in the NFL that can't afford to overlook anybody, it's the Jacksonville Jaguars with the way this season has played out. So I don't expect there to be any overlook factor, even with that gigantic Indianapolis game coming a week later. Well, that will just about do it, man. We talked a lot about the Jaguars tonight. Also spent some time on Florida and Florida State as well, as rivalry week in college football commences. Of course, you'll hear Florida and Florida State Saturday, 4:30. Right here on 1010XL and on 92.5 FM. And we have a ton of people to thank for tonight's broadcast. Thank you again to Gerald Ingram, 18 years as a running back coach in the National Football League. Thank you to Travis Holmes of Big Cat Country and the host of the Duval Dive podcast for coming on tonight, recapping Arizona. Also looking ahead to Tennessee. Ira Schofel, warchant.com, as we talked about Mike Norvell the Florida State announcing that Mike Norvell will return to the school in 2026. Also got the Florida State side of this Florida State-Florida matchup on Saturday. And back in hour number one, my buddy Leon Searcy, former Pro Bowl offensive tackle for the Jacksonville Jaguars. You hear him every day on XL Primetime, and we also get him weekly right here on Hacker After Dark. Now, we will be back tomorrow night at 8 o'clock, and we will do it all over again. I will also be sitting in again tomorrow afternoon on Helmets and Heels with Taylor Dahl and Tom McManus from 2 o'clock until 4 o'clock, so we do hope that you join us then. Dylan Denmark was your producer tonight. Denmark, great job as always. I'm the hacker, Ryan Green. And again, Jacksonville, thank you for spending part of your Tuesday evening with us right here on Hacker After Dark, on 1010XL, and on 92.5 FM. So for all of us here on HAD, have a terrific remainder